What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Final Fantasy. We have finally caught up on all these side quests, so I assume the only thing left to do would be to start the expansions at the reading table. Otherwise, we're just going to hop right into Origin, but I will take a look at this first and see what we have. Oh, we have a lot to read, actually. Okay, we're going to get a nice little reading open into this episode, so I suppose I should take a quick little drink of my coffee. Before we depart, Ifrit, you have my sincerest gratitude for reuniting me with Master Harpocrates, that I might embark upon this most important of journeys, my heart free of regret. Though, in these past few moons, I have come to realize that the longer I spend in the company of you and your brother, the deeper I find myself in your debt. We must swiftly see to the menace that is Ultima, if not to save the world, to save me from an eternity of recompense. Dion. Man, I like Dion's character. The whole always paying his debts, the way he turned up at Canva. I am a big fan of Dion's character. I hope he doesn't have to fall on his sword to redeem himself. I'd like to see what he gets up to going forward. Safe returns. Thank you, Clive, for ever indulging the whims of this doddering old soul. I am ashamed that for far too many years I allowed stubbornness and fear to keep me from something so simple as letting a friend know how proud I was of him. Your intervention has lifted a heavy pall from my heart. Perhaps upon your triumphant return from the skies, you might be inclined to set to page that quill I gifted you. There are many of us who would hear a first-hand account of your time with the Holy Prince, myself included, Hippocrates. Hideaway welcome. Edda seems fond of the silver bow we gave her, so much so she's been taking to setting it atop her belly as she rests. To hear her tell it, the rascal kicks something fierce when she does too. Sounds like we've another fighter on our hands, and none too soon. I can hardly wait to teach our newest little curse breaker everything I know, though I suppose we can all celebrate first. No need to get ahead of ourselves now, Gav. It was interesting learning about Gav's childhood. The way his family got yoinked from him while he was hiding in the basement. I still do think that that's probably a lot of motivation for his courage going forward, you know? He probably has the mentality of, I will never again sit idle and do nothing during a time of duress. Where he pulls a lot of his things from. And Gav really is the GOAT. He's pulled our ass out of the fire so many times. He's been the most reliable person in this whole game. The Tri-Unity. Bringing together three men from differing backgrounds was not to be without some difficulty. However, come together we did, for a better Valastia. The Tri-Unity was but a first step. A longer, more bitter journey awaits us all, one that will almost certainly end in hardship. Yet what matters most is not the destination, but what we can learn from one another while on the road there. You have paved that road for us with your courage. Now we must have the courage to walk it. Your loving uncle, Byron. A note of thanks. My Lord Marquess, I write to thank you for the kind consideration you have shown for those whose names are written within the pages of the Book of Martyrs. I know that it would move them deeply to know that the first shield of the Phoenix laments their passing. Though each and every member of our order stands ready to sacrifice their lives in service of the Phoenix, I do not doubt that those who are taken before their time go with regret for the long years of duty left undone. That they should live on in the memory of a proud son of House Rosfield such as yourself shall surely go some way to soothing their sorrows. May the Phoenix's flame burn ever in your heart, Cyril, bearer of the burning quill. The Wages of Fate. Do you remember what you told me that night at Phoenix Gate? That while the fate of Rosaria sits on my shoulders, the fate of its dominant sits upon yours. But are we not both dominants of fire? Does not the flame of our forebearers burn in both our hearts? Should I not protect you, as you have protected me? You have chosen to be my shield. Now let me choose to be yours. Is this not what our father wanted? What Sid wanted? To cast aside fate and forge our own paths. Grant me this, Clive. Let me be your strength, Joshua. Concern for Jill. Though her Eikon brought her much suffering, The loss of Sheba weighs heavy on her heart, and we would be poor friends indeed if we not seek to lighten that burden, even but only a fraction, before we depart for the skies. I would speak on this more in private.
If Joshua's worried about Jill, I should go and speak with him.
We should also go and speak with her. I imagine losing a dominant like that kind of fills you with a aching emptiness. We saw it most with Benedicta. Pretty much as soon as we took her dominant, she felt incomplete and kind of powerless. I imagine even the good guys who aren't necessarily interested in lording that above people feel that too.
Joshua, I read your message. You're right. Jill is different. I don't think I'd realized how different, but since we returned from Drake's spine, I've felt it more and more.
I suppose it's not hard to imagine why.
She doesn't think she belongs anymore.
And that's why we need to remind her she is still one of us. To let her know that we still need her, now more than ever. That you still need her. But how to do that? When last we were truly close, we were but children.
I don't know about you, Joshua, but me and Joe have been getting pretty close to skin.
Remember the time we accompanied Father on his annual tour of the Duchy? And Jill and I broke from the procession to ride up Man's Hill.
To see the snow daisies, I remember. It was the first time Father had allowed us to join him. And when he realized you were missing, he had the entire retinue down to the pot boys combing the countryside.
In the rain. A thunderstorm forced us to take refuge in a grove of oaks before we'd even made it halfway there. It was the Lord Commander who finally found us, and needless to say, he was none too pleased.
Sounds like we know where to take Jill.
You and Jill have unfinished business. What do you say?
Man's Hill. It's not that far.
Oh, true. Though I suspect it is also much changed. Little in southern Rosaria remains as it was when we were children.
You're saying I should go and scout the area for bandits?
I'm saying we should first go and see if there are actually still any snow daisies left. What would you do without me, Clive?
Be very lonely. Same with you, boy. Here for a little field trip. Nice day out with the brother and the doggo. Jill being the only icon to actually readily surrender that kind of power is still surprising to me as well. I honestly thought that we would end up having to deal with a tragedy to get Sheba. Pleasantly surprised.
This is the place, but...
I'm sorry, Clive.
There's nowhere been spared. What do we do now?
We keep looking.
Or maybe try and grab some seeds.
Be the only place where snow daisies grow.
Take it back to the Hideaway's farmer. Maybe he can salvage something.
It's the only place I know of. Knew of.
Then why not ask someone who might know of another?
Someone in the backyard. To the Hideaway, then.
Exactly. Exactly correct. We have a resident farm grower on our hands at the Hideaway. I'm sure he knows something. Or can at the very least grow them. Maybe we just present her with a flower. I think that would do the same
Let's
as
hope one of the gardeners knows where to find snow daisies.
taking her to the place itself. I imagine losing Shiva makes her feel a little useless too in a lot of situations. Right? I mean, she helped the hell out of us a bunch of times. She got us off the ocean bed. She stood against Barnabas when he put us out of the fight. She's done a lot for the Hideaway and Clive specifically, and she's unable to do that anymore because she had to give him a power-up. He'd feel quite frustrated and useless, I think, in that situation.
Oh. What brings you down from the heavens, Sid?
I need your advice. Joshua and I are looking for a place where snow daisies grow. Preferably in abundance.
Snow daisies. Then you'll want somewhere not too hot and not too cold. And where the winds are strong enough to carry the seeds. I reckon Man's Hill would be a good place to start. There in the Royal Meadows, perhaps? Both have similar climbs and the right elevation. If the Blight hasn't claimed them yet.
Right. Thank you.
Did you learn where we might find our flowers?
The gardener here mentioned the Royal Meadows in Sambrak.
Ah, the fields beyond Northreach. Well, if that's the case, then Yote was right. I recalled that she kept the record of our travels, you see. So I asked her if she'd perhaps noted anywhere that snow daisies grew, and she mentioned Oilefeist Bay.
Whose shores border the meadows. Off we go then.
We've been to the Royal Meadows a bunch. There was a lot of hunts in the Royal Meadows recently. That's why I recall it by name. I'm back to Northreach. Has Joshua been to Northreach with us? I don't think so. At least not. Well, he's crossed with us in the party like this, but I don't think he's actually been here in a cutscene or a story
And how
moment.
might I help the garrison today?
We've dragged him here a couple times. It's still been cool to have all these little hub worlds, like Northreach and Lost Wing, where we've done quests for to get them kind of set straight. It's been nice to see the evolution of the world based on our actions. I mean, the only real complaint I would have about any of those is that I didn't get to make too many choices, but you can't grumble when it's not that kind of game, right? This is not the kind of game where you get to elect your own officials and things like that. But imagine if you could have. Imagine a world where, in that last Northreach quest, we could have picked between Dame or the Sambrak dude. And then based on your decisions, different people die, different things
Meadows
happen.
are vast. Where do we even
I
start?
think that could have been cool.
Yote mentioned the coastline. We can start there.
It was still cool as it was, and I think the Dame was the right choice ultimately. But it would have been nice to be able to pick based on everything you've learned. It looks like I'm gonna have to clear it out.
You see them?
Flowers and our friends.
Looks like daisies to me.
What do you see, boy?
I swear, Torgal is the best enemy alert system.
Let's hope this is the last one.
Only one way to find out.
Should be able to get him out of here with this. Nice and easy little warm-ups for the fights ahead. I feel good today in this game, actually. I feel snappy. I'm gonna bring Jill out here on a nice little
Harder than I
picnic.
expected. But found her. It was worth it. They're beautiful.
Do you think Jill will like them?
She'll love them. Come on. Let's go.
You know, considering this game is so heavily inspired by Game of Thrones, the love interest being ice while the main character is fire, like a Song of Ice and Fire. That's pretty cool as a reference. There's no way it's not, right? Daenerys and Jon and Clive and Jill.
It appears my work is done. The rest, as they say, is up to you.
You leave it in my capable
You
hands.
and the skies. We wouldn't want another thunderstorm now, would we?
Alright, Joe, good news. We're going on a picnic. About time these two had a moment to themselves, I think. Especially since we're about to potentially die in the sky.
Jill, there's something I'd like to show you.
There is? And where might this something be?
It's, not here. Now, I know this is sudden, but how would you fancy a trip to Oriflamme?
There are so many. This is what you wanted to show me. I don't know what to say.
You don't need to say anything. The smile on your face is enough. We've been worried about you, Joshua and I. Do you remember when I took you to Man's Hill? Or tried to?
How could I forget? You saw me crying and thought a change of scenery might lift my spirits. In the end, it earned me a nasty cough and a stern scolding from your mother. But I felt wonderful nonetheless.
I'm sorry. I had no idea what I was getting us both into. But I couldn't bear to see you like that.
Before we left, my chambermaid told me she'd overheard your mother talking about my marriage prospects with some of the noblewomen at court. They were debating whether it would be more profitable to marry me off to one of the high houses instead of saving me for the ducal line. No one thought to ask me what I wanted. I was nothing to them. A pawn at best. I felt so trapped, so lonely.
I didn't know.
But I wasn't alone.
I really despise
Your
Annabella.
hand in mine as we ran for those oaks. And I knew then, no matter what happened, I would be all right. I'll never forget that feeling. Before we broke camp, the morning after the storm, do you know what I did?
No? What?
I slipped away from my governess to climb the tor. And from there I saw a sea of petals, all reaching for the sun. And I realized that no matter how terrible the night, dawn would always come. That you would always come for me. And you have. Again and again.
Where do you see us? When all this is over?
I don't know. Not here, though. I think I've outgrown the twins. After everything we've been through, the realm just seems so small. I'll need some space to spread my wings.
Then that's what you'll have. And I'll stop at nothing to see that you do.
Man, I love this game. The music, the narrative. This game is fire.
I never was much good at garlands, but it'll have to do.
You know it's good when I find myself just shutting up and watching.
I'll treasure it forever.
Thank you, Clive. For this, the flowers, for everything. It's exactly what I needed. You are my treasure.
Fire and ice. You know, I'm not much of an appreciator of classical music, but the piano in the background for that scene is very pretty. I do like piano. Very relaxing. And we didn't have to kill
Should
anything.
probably be getting back. I expect the others are wondering where we are.
You're right. There's still much to do.
And we'll do it together.
I'm kind of surprised we didn't have to kill anything, actually. Get another level up from that. We did. Got 49 now. Beautiful. We got Shiva's Kiss. Reduces diamond dust cooldown by 7 seconds. That's actually phenomenal. Snow Daisy Garland. A fragrant diadem hand-woven by Jill from flowers picked on the shores of the Olafist Bay. I never was much good at garlands, but it'll have to do. Yeah, hopefully nobody has to do some big heroic sacrifice here. Jill has joined Clive's party and will remain with him until departing for Origin. Echoes of the Fallen questline. Here we go. Yeah, the DLCs. A new questline, Echoes of the Fallen, is now available by speaking with Karen at her stall in the Hideaway. The Rising Tide questline. A new questline, The Rising Tide, is now available by inspecting the reading table in Clive's Hideaway chambers. Now, I don't know what I'm supposed to do first out of those, so I will likely look into which one is better to do. Because I'm sure there's some kind of narrative fitting in those, and I don't know which one came out first, so I'll probably give a quick Google search on which one came out first, so I know which one to start first. So I will cut the video while I look at that, and then I'll meet you all back at the Hideaway to make a start on those. Alright, we are back at the Hideaway, and based on what I read, Echoes of the Fallen is the way to go first. That is the one that is narratively first. Apparently there's a quest in Rising Tide that only appears if you did Echoes first, so that is where we're going to go first. But I did want to read this real quick. So, The Greatest Gift. It feels like a lifetime ago. It was a lifetime ago. That afternoon on Man's Hill was our very first adventure, but somehow I knew even then that it would not be our last. I will never forget that day, and the simple fact that you have not either fills my heart with a joy so fierce I cannot describe it. Since the moment we first met, you have always been an important part of me, the half that makes me whole. When times are darkest, you are my light. When I am lost, you are my guiding star. You are just what I need. You are all that I need. You are the greatest gift. Jill. Man, I love the English language. When things are put together properly, in sentences like that, it has such a nice ring to it, it scratches my brain. The art of writing and speaking is very satisfying to me. I gotta get better at it myself.
Clive.
Is something the matter, Karen? You seem perturbed.
Don't know. How clever of you to notice.
Sharp as a
Oh,
tack
yes.
sometimes.
Something's come to my attention, and I'll be damned if I know what to make of it.
Go on.
It's probably quicker if I just show you. Here.
Some sort of crystal. Though, I don't remember seeing one that color before.
Aye, well, that makes two of us. In all my long years of trading, both over and under the counter, I've never seen anything quite like it. They calling them dusk crystals, on account of colour.
What do they do?
I see. And they could be used to cast magics.
That they can. Just like their brighter, shinier cousins. Difference is, they don't last as long. After a couple of goes lighting your pie, they crumble away to nothing. That's how I heard about them. From crystal traders moaning that someone's been flooding the market with dodgy goods. And after asking the right people the right questions, and paying the right price, of course, I managed to get my hands on a sample.
I see why you're perturbed.
I hope. Do you feel that, Clive?
Yes.
You know, I was thinking, should you have really brought that here? Imperial fringes, huh? They still have people mining crystals.
All right, lads, that'll do for today. I said that'll do for today.
Yes, Chief. Yes, Chief.
Let's get this lot back to town, fill our purses and then our bellies.
I'm surprised they even still work with the mother crystals being gone.
What did you two do now?
I think it's time for you boys to leave. I'll be out of that cave so fast.
Stay calm, both of you.
I'd already be at the entrance.
Who needs a lantern when you've got one of these? All that work for a single spark. Well, there'll be no more sampling the merchandise today.
I think you're right about that.
That sounded close, Chief. Really close.
Like I said,
Really,
time to leave.
Really close.
Now, lads, what am I always telling you? Good things come to those who run.
Wait for
course, Chief!
That's a very cool intro. I assume this is going to be all about the Fallen Ruins, which I've been wanting to learn more about, so sign me up.
I've never felt a tremor this far inland before.
Me neither. But then, I'd never seen skies like these till a few moons ago, and it's been all change ever since. Come to think of it, the first anyone ever heard of these dust crystals was after you lot came back from the Dominion and brought this bloody weather with you.
Do you think the two things are connected?
Who knows? Could just be that with Drake's tail gone, the black market was running short of the good stuff. The Dominion's mines were the only source of new shards left in Storm after a certain evil outlaw decided to do away with the other mothers. And with the price of decent crystals going through the roof, traders turned to dealing in stuff they'd never have touched before.
The question is, who's selling these crystals and where are they? Wait. This color. They couldn't be from Origin, could they? No, that wouldn't make sense. I saw it form in the sky, and that was long after we returned from the Dominion. But if they didn't come from Origin or any of the other mother crystals, then... does that mean...
That you missed one? Aye. That were my thinking any road. Another mother crystal we didn't know about.
I'll speak with Joshua. If you're right about this, we need to find it.
And quick, I'd say.
Like a dark
On
underground
account
crystal.
of which, I'll take this shard over to Tomes for you. Get him to give it a once-over, case it rings any bells.
Bone tomes.
Right. Thank you.
And I expect you'll be wanting Jill's help with this too.
Right again. I will. Let me go and find Joshua, and we'll meet you in the shelves.
Interesting. They changed music for this DLC. Chasing the Echoes. Quest destinations for Echoes of the Fallen are indicated with the purple marker. After accepting the quest, current objectives are displayed in the to-do list on the right-hand side of the screen. These will temporarily replace main scenario objectives. Prioritizing the Echoes. If you wish to restore main scenario objectives to the to-do list, you can do so on the Journal tab. Now we're full sending here on this DLC. I'm already hooked, I'm interested.
Joshua, we need to talk. Karen's caught wind of something that I don't think we can afford to ignore.
Aye, that is troubling. Not least because the Undying made no mention of these dusk crystals in any of their recent reports.
A different voice
They weren't
actor.
aware of them either.
Perhaps. Or perhaps they merely deemed them unworthy of my attention. Wrongly, I might add.
If that is the same voice actor, he's given a very different
Then we'd
performance.
better take her advice and consult Hippocrates forthwith.
To the shelves, then. With our combined insight, I'm sure we'll discern something of use, be it no more than a place to start.
Let's hope so.
That was a stark contrast when he spoke.
There you are. I've taken the liberty of telling these two everything I told you.
Thank you, Karen.
It's hard to believe such a lusterless shard could conjure much of anything. And you truly think this came from a mother crystal? One we never knew existed?
Every other shard in the Twins did. Why should these dusk crystals be any different? Dim though they may be.
We know they first appeared on the black market shortly after Ultima cast Primogenesis, darkening the skies. So might the two be connected? Could the spell have created a new mother crystal, perhaps? A replacement for the ones we destroyed?
What do you think, Hippocrates?
I think there may well be a connection. Yet, if we are to believe that the original mother crystals were of Ultima's making, does it seem likely that he would have need of anything so palpably inferior? No. I hazard that it was not Ultima who created these crystals, but humanity. More specifically, our fallen forebears, whose wonders litter the land even now. Legend holds that the fallen challenged the gods in order to win their power, and came tantalizingly close to doing so. It seems only reasonable that they should wish to learn the secrets of the crystals which the gods bestowed upon them.
So they could make their own.
Precisely. You may recall that the tale of the sins of Zemeckis begins with the Colloquy of the Sages, a council wherein humanity sought to uncover the last secrets of the gods before waging their war to learn what little remained. It is perfectly possible that an understanding of how to craft crystals was among their many achievements.
Among their many achievements, prior to their fall.
Indeed. The same enlightened souls forged great and terrible weapons called the Iconoclasts, from which Eikons derived their name, and turned them against each other in the Magitech War. A pointless conflict which served only to make its victors more confident of their right to supplant the gods on high. And when at last they ventured to do so, the resultant imbalance in the ether is said to have been so great that the skies themselves turned black and began to boil. The first recorded arcane sky, I suspect. Which brings us back to the matter at hand. It is my belief that these shards are the product of a long-slumbering Magitech mother crystal, stirred to life by a similar etheric upheaval to the one which accompanied its creator's fall.
There's only one way to know for sure. We track down whoever's selling them and find their source. Karen, where did you buy this one?
Down in Port Isolde when I was scratching around for supplies. Since the Imperials buggered off and took the tariffs with them, you can find all sorts of interesting stuff on the docks. Go and have a chat with the mercenaries guarding the gates. Your uncle's got some good lads there. You know when to keep a watchful eye and when to turn a blind one. Oh, and take the crystal with you. Might be your key to the underworld.
Thank you. I will.
So the Fallen basically created ether nukes and shot them at each other.
Shall we then, brother?
I'm coming too.
Which sounds like it literally
There is
burnt
another
the sky
crystal
out.
there, and it's anything like the others. You'll need all the help you can get.
Those weapons is
I
probably
was hoping
where
you'd say that.
that giant
One more
hole
time
comes
then.
from in the first sin.
Together.
Well, the gang's all here. Heading out with Torgal, Joshua, and Jill. It's been a while since we had that OG party knocking around. So how long have we been going? We have been going for around 40 minutes. I think
Do you think they'll come back?
we'll probably head on to Port Isolde. Get a little bit of information going from there. And then we'll likely wrap it. Head over. I don't want this to go on too long, because I would like to have a big chunky episode for this expansion next time.
Samuel, slow down! Not bloody likely!
You gotta work on your cardio.
Fuck me. They're fast on their feet.
Also, if Clive is watching
going on here,
a
I
curse,
wonder?
that looks like a curse breaker to me.
What indeed? Let's ask.
If Clive is watching somebody chase those, wouldn't he just kind of like grab one of them? Oh, it's a sellsword, not a curse breaker. Okay, that's the same armor the curse breakers were. You've reached a pivotal moment in Echoes of the Fallen. If you continue, you will not be able to return. Proceed. Okay, so we're actually gonna wrap this one here then, since we're at a point of no return. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment, If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you soon with more Echoes of the Fallen. Take care everybody, have a great day.